my life would have been like this early enough where I could have got out.
Gary Coleman was everyone's favorite pint-sized TV star back in the late 70s. As Arnold Jackson on Different Strokes, his famous line, "What you talkin' bout, Willis?" made him a household name overnight. Kids and adults alike laughed along, but no one saw the real cost behind that grin. Gary wasn't just playing a kid on camera. He actually stayed that size because of a lifelong kidney disease. While the show brought him fame, it also hit a serious health battle that would shape everything he went through. From age 2, Gary fought a congenital kidney condition that stunted his growth. By 5, he'd already had a transplant. Doctors said he might not live to see adulthood, yet he beat every odd. Still, surviving meant regular dialysis sessions, piles of pills, and endless hospital visits. On set, when he doubled over or looked pale, crew whispered and producers worried about ratings slipping. His health needs were real, but to many in Hollywood it was just top secret, behind-the-scenes drama. As Different Strokes climbed in popularity, executives realized they had a goldmine in Arnold's split-second delivery and childlike look. They refused to let his character or his body age. When he turned 15 or 16, he stayed cast as a 12-year-old. Every joke, every scene, froze him in place. That meant more money for the network, but it also crushed Gary's hopes of growing up normally, trying new roles, or just being treated like an adult. On busy shooting days, Gary powered through scripts even when he was sick. Hairstylists sneaked him water and coffee, and once production paused for 2 days so he could recover from a health scare. His own dad showed up on set one morning, furious that the studio dared stop filming. "Get him back out there," his father growled. Gary had no choice but to obey. He finished the scene, forced a smile, then fell over in pain. Off camera, Gary was lonely. Beneath the laughs, he carried frustration, trapped in a child's body with a grown man mind and no real freedom. He told friends he felt like a prisoner inside his own success. The industry had given him a golden ticket, but it also took away all the choices a kid his age deserved. That inner conflict would follow him well into his adult life. Despite raking in a reported $100,000 per episode, Gary saw almost none of that cash. His parents and business managers controlled his $18 million fortune. When he finally demanded to see the books, he discovered nearly everything was gone. In his 20s, he sued his own family, accusing them of mishandling his earnings. Court filings painted a heartbreaking picture. A child star robbed of the wealth he worked so hard to earn. After Different Strokes ended in 1986, producers still wanted Arnold Jackson back. They dangled spin-offs and guest spots, hoping to milk nostalgia. Gary felt stuck. He dreamed of different characters, even a normal 9-to-5 job. But industry insiders kept reminding him that, without Arnold, there is no Gary Coleman. The same fame he once craved became a trap he couldn't escape. His relationship with his parents soured completely. Once he turned 18, they tried to regain legal guardianship, claiming his health problems made him incapable of managing his own life. Gary saw it as another control tactic. He cut ties and leaned on longtime friends and a new agent to rebuild his independence. Yet that battle left deep scars. He never fully trusted anyone again. In 2007, Gary thought he'd found safety with Shannon Price, a young extra he met on a Utah set. They married on a mountaintop and he called her his soulmate. Almost immediately, the marriage turned rocky. Neighbors filed domestic violence calls, and Gary briefly applied for a restraining order he never served. Even after they divorced, they bizarrely kept living under one roof, caught in a cycle of fights, apologies, and broken promises. After his death, YouTube comments and fan forums exploded with anguish and anger. One viewer wrote, "I hate that for him, God will get her." Another said, "He was very intelligent." Reactions spanned grief, outrage, and disbelief that someone could treat him so cruelly. Online communities now use Gary's story as a rallying cry against child star exploitation, showing his legacy still moves people deeply. On May 26, 2010, Gary slipped in his Utah home and hit his head. He was rushed to the hospital on a ventilator, and 2 days later, at age 42, his ex-wife Shannon signed the papers to remove life support. Officially, It was ruled an accidental fall that led to a fatal brain hemorrhage. Yet a chilling 911 call, where Shannon says, "I can't deal with the blood," and her quick decision to pull the plug fueled endless suspicion. When Peacock dropped the documentary Gary, it dug into that night and aired the raw tapes. A polygraph expert later claimed Shannon lied about never striking him. Friends pointed to past domestic violence visits police made to the house. Investigators never found clear proof of foul play, but those closest to Gary aren't convinced. For them, unanswered questions shout louder than any official conclusion. Todd Bridges, who played Willis, admitted in 2024 he still wonders what really happened. Other pals say Gary feared for his safety in Shannon's presence. His tragic end sparked calls to strengthen protections for vulnerable adults, especially those with chronic illnesses, cognitive differences, or a history of exploitation. Gary's final chapter helped shine a light on gaps in our system that let victims slip through without justice. Today, Gary Coleman's life stands as both a warning and a testament. He was caught in a system that valued profit over personhood, yet he kept his sense of humor and openly talked about his pain. His resilience, beating medical odds, fighting for his money, and sharing his truth, still inspires artists, activists, and fans to demand kinder, fairer treatment in Hollywood and beyond. If this story moved you, share it with someone who remembers Gary's smile but never saw the hurt behind it. Hit subscribe for more real talk deep dives into lives both celebrated and overlooked. Let's keep Gary's full story alive, so future stars aren't trapped by the very fame they chase.